A little update on our tiger shovelnose in house. Well, it's been many years since we had a lot of them and big ones. Right now we have only smaller ones. We used to have them all the way up to 3 feet, about half a dozen or a dozen of them. But that was years ago. These days we have only 3. Widmer, the true spotted tiger shovelnose. About 18 inches, I wouldn't say. Sock Puppet, the rescue, badly genetically deformed tiger shovelnose, most likely fasciatum, pseudoplatystoma fasciatum, with a bad genetic defect of called duckbill or camel face. He only eats pellets. He's been here with us for probably will be close to 4 months now. Hasn't taken fish yet, even though I feed this 1800 gallon, I feed it heavily with fish. Never showed any interest yet. Neither did Widmer fed here, but Widmer was moved to the 1800 gallon only I want to say a week or 2 ago. Yeah, I think there's been 2 feedings only since then, and he hasn't eaten yet. It's a little dark here, so you can probably barely see him. Sock Puppet, I want to say he's probably about close to 1.5 feet, maybe a little shorter than Widmer, maybe about the same, yeah, a little shorter. Let's say 15 inches tip to tip. He came from Mike and Amanda's rescue, as I said, 4 months ago, so I'm not sure of his age, maybe a year or 2. They're raised in tight quarters, and oftentimes when they're still babies or fry, they can physically damage the snout and bend it from running into a hard wall, which is why many farmers of these fish hang curtains along the walls of a concrete vat to lessen that to lessen this defect from occurring in the population of fish they're raising. But for the most part, I think it doesn't look like a physical trauma. Could it be also the artificial spawning and breeding, and that also causes abundance of defects. But I think for the most part it could be genetic, because it usually looks better in babies, and as they keep growing it keeps getting worse and worse. This is probably pretty severe, I would say. I've seen even worse than this, but this is beyond average, I'd say. On average it's usually just slanted, rounded mouth, or snout, I should say. This is badly rounded and pointing down. Alright, and the third one is, we call him Tiggy. He lives in the 4,500 gallon now. Used to be in 1800, and then before that in 240. So he's probably getting closer to 2 feet. He's a rescue from, or was given to us by Matthew Long, I think, in August 23 or 22, I think 22. So it will have been with us for 2 years and a couple of months. It was very slow to start growing, extremely slow, skittish, unsure, shy. But as he was gaining size, we picked it up and started eating extremely well. As you can see, he's still doing it by his stomach. He hasn't eaten in 5 days, and that's his stomach still pretty big. When he eats, he eats until he's round. Doesn't bother anybody in this tank anyway. Nobody bothers him, seemingly. I don't see any marks on him, any ripped fins, so that's nice. When we had big tiger shovelnose, we used to keep him in the jumbo tank, but that wasn't a good idea. I would not recommend keeping fully grown tiger shovelnose with fully grown red tail, hybrid jowl, paroons. Tiger shovelnose cannot handle aggression from them very well, being purely predatory but not aggressive otherwise. So they suffer broken spines and beaten fins. So I would not recommend keeping them with the biggest and with aggressive catfish. So this tank would suit Tiggy at least anyway. He's too small to go there anyway. He'd be a snack. But even if he was maybe 2.5 foot, I'd still leave him here. I'd probably have to take some of the smaller fish out. At 2.5 foot, he may try and swallow something like a mahseer like that. Chinese mahseer or red mahseer, tortumbra. I'd only leave something in here that definitely would not fit in his mouth. Tiger shovelnose are very efficient, very voracious predators. But other than that, they may object to their own kin sometimes. Oftentimes they're okay with their own kin, but sometimes they may object to it. They don't seem to really care about, well, they don't really bother anybody else. Other fish that don't fit in his mouth, in their mouth. Alright, so that's a little update on the 3 tiger shovelnose that we have here. For those of you who are interested, you can look at our tiger shovelnose thread on the Monster Fish Keepers forum to see what we kept through the years for the last, let's say, 17 years or so. There's a history there. Yeah. Shaking and strutting. Alright. Thank you guys for watching as always. Suck Puppet says hello. Smile.